Hello there, my beloveds. Awakened one. This is Monica Bermudez, an intuitive quantum energy healer. I am coming on my YouTube channel to share about some of the energies for this May of 2023 as we are moving along. The timelines are definitely moving at a very fast rate of very shifting transformational type timelines. And we are, because of all the energies and the planetary movements and the astrological events that are occurring, I want to share about these 5 themes for this coming month of May 2023. And so I'm recording this at the end of April and observing a lot of things going on around my life and some of the energies and how that's been impacting myself and others around me. So it definitely feels like it's going to be a very powerful transformational month, and it feels very spiritual revolutionary because we just had a big solar eclipse energy at the end of April, which was during the new moon, and that was very transformational itself. And it was in the sign of Aries also, which was the second new moon. And so all the eclipse energies though have very long lasting effects. So this will definitely last for almost the entire year of 2023 and impact 2024 as well. And so this month of April was definitely, a lot of shocking news and transformational type changes, because that's really what the eclipse are. They're very shocking information. So I'm going to share, first of all, some of the events, major portal events to look out for in May. And starting in the beginning of May, which is May 5th, and it's going to include a lot of events that day, because for one, that's when the full moon peaks at its highest energy. And full moons are about completing cycles. They're about ending and starting, anew into like these new cycles. So it's a great time for dissolving yourself from old patterns, and that's really what the whole month of May feels like. So on top of that being the full moon, there's also going to be this big lunar eclipse as well. So it's going to be another lunar eclipse, and then it's also a very special day because that's when the Wesak full moon is, or that's actually a holiday in most of Asia that's celebrated as the birth of Buddha. And being the birth of Buddha, not the physical form, but actually the enlightened version of him, when he became super enlightened in his human physical form, and he received the higher grades of elevations of energies, which is a form of ascension in a way. And so I do feel like because of the energies, the way they've been so heightened, especially for April, they're going to increase even more so in May, that it's going to, how should I say, like urge or be a surge of energy that is so potent that it will create this wave to pave the way for you to change. So it'll be major transformational changes in your life, and whether that be for and the reason why these changes are occurring, which is why things look so chaotic right now, and I'm experiencing this in my area where it just seems like people are very much in this high tension of energy. And so it just feels like it's so accelerated, so quantum level of energy that people don't know how to deal with it. I would say the majority of them, because not all of them know about all these type of energies that, I like to share, which is so important that I like to prepare myself, and I also like to share with others this information so that you're also well prepared for the energies that do come, and that you take advantage of these new energies as well. And so the reason, why we are so chaotic and so accelerated is because this is all bringing us into our own soul alignment within ourselves. And when I talk about the soul alignment, I'm talking about being more connected to our most deepest and inner self in our highest aspect of ourselves, because we all come with specific soul contracts and soul agreements before we are born into this physical form, into this physical life. And of course, we all have free will, and those things can change, but those contracts and those agreements were set with the intention of its most purest and highest form, with divinity and the cosmic, and knowing that it would serve many and others in all in different ways in humanity, because we are all contributing in our own way, and some of us have, you know, different missions and different purpose in those areas. And really, where that all comes, where the purpose, you will feel it in your calling, in your heart, something that is ready to change, something that is ready to let go of and be transformed. And so this is what this eclipse energy will feel like. It's this transformational change, which, you know, again, with this eclipse, change is going to last until like 2024. And so these are changes that are here to stay, changes where, you know, I feel like most of the months of May, it's something to do with our own identity and how we have been identifying ourselves our whole life up to this point. And so when we start to shift into our own soul alignment, which I consider to be our authentic self, our most purest and, you know, form of ourselves, which is, you know, incarnated within your physical body. And so when you're in the physical body, though, there's other factors like the type of like personality that, you know, comes with it, and also based on the upbringing and experience. And so we also carry within ourselves these old patterns that some of them are generational, ancestral, and some of them are also karmic. And so when, you know, we are in our bodies, in our physical bodies, we, you know, had in the old way of the old earth, we have forgotten ourselves and who we really are, because we got so distracted by the outside world, which this is a hologram world, right? So it's just playing its role for us to live here. And sometimes we, you know, and part of us forgot about that. So we think of the physical world as being our entire world, as being the 99%, but in fact, it's actually the opposite of that. Our spiritual self is the majority, is the 99%, whereas the physical form is just the 1%. So that's why energy for me, it is so important, because energy is the majority that is composed of us and composed of the universe. So working with those frequencies, those numbers, and that vibrational energy. And so because, you know, I also like to look at the numbers, because numbers have their own frequency and their own energy as well. They have their own form of sacred geometry, and sacred geometry is this like cosmic vibrational energy that takes shape and form in its own way, and it's very unique in every form and every shape that it has. But it's very divine, it's very, you know, high vibrational type energies for anybody who looks at it, and in all these shapes is also receiving some of its energy. So I felt called to just talk about that. Sacred geometry was so important, because that is something that is also a big part of me that I carry, of my own inner wisdom. And in fact, we all carry this wisdom within ourselves. And so in order, you know, to share this information, there is some form of activation and remembrance that occurs as well. And so the month of May, though, is the number 5. So if you look at the number 5, to me, like, that's a pointed 5-pointed star. And so I like to think of this as being the star of, you know, our origins being the star seeds, that there is this connection to our star seeds as well for the month of May. And we are feeling more into our own soul. So as we tap more into our own soul, shifting, we start to also connect more with our own galactic origins and our cosmic origins, and start to feel more of this star seed connection in our own star family, because I like to think of our ancestors, including the star family as well, because we also carry a lot of this cosmic origin in us too. So, moving into the months of May, these are the portal energies. May 5th is a very big day for a lot of these portal energies. And we're also in the middle of Mercury Retrograde, which started April 21st, and it's going to last until May 14th. So I don't think Mercury Retrograde is the same as it used to be before, because I feel like with all these new energies that a lot of the Mercury Retrograde has shifted. And Mercury is associated to wealth and to the prosperity and abundance within ourselves. And so I like to, it's also associated with communication. So that's why it is important also to just, if you're able to just rest or, reset yourself or relax, because rest is also a form of reset. It's also taking that break as needed. When, especially if you're working so much and working so hard, and or if you don't feel like that inspiration anymore, that motivation, that's where you can also go for that rest to get that reset. And so that's really what Mercury retrograde serves its purpose in using that energy. And it's also about reorganizing your life. So if you're decluttering and wanting to reorganize certain things in your house, for instance, and you can also declutter your own thoughts and emotions and reorganize them in such a way, right, that they serve you better in what you're doing. And then on May 19th, at its highest peak, is when the new moon occurs, which is in the sign of Taurus. So we are in the zodiac sign of Taurus. And because, it is the Taurus energy, there is this emphasis of the earth sign and an emphasis with nature and beauty, because that's really what Taurus is about. It's about the beauty and the nature. It's about being out in nature and connecting. So this full moon actually that's coming up soon is in the sign of Scorpio. And Scorpio is another sign of being transformational, but it's also very heightened type intuitive energy and clairvoyant energy. So these are really big changes going on in our life. So now I'm just going to jump into the 5 things to know about this month. So the number one thing to know is that, one, there is this rebirth of new identity emerging within us. And so a lot of these is what I've been feeling intuitively. And so there is this feeling like our old versions of ourselves, which was more related to the old world. And when I say the old world, I'm talking about the way it was where we felt separated, because now I feel like we are shifting more into this unity consciousness. I'm not saying that everybody and everything are there yet, but I just feel like there is this, shifting that is occurring so much. And that's why the energies appear so chaotic, because some people don't know what to do with it, and they feel overwhelmed and stressed by it and anxious, because there is a lot of unknown when it comes to rebirthing yourself, when it comes to re-identifying yourself, especially if you have just gone through this major change, whether that be a breakup or, losing a job or changing a job, or even moving, because sometimes we identify ourselves to specific locations where we've lived for many, many years. And then when we start to get into this moving mode, there is like this death and this rebirth type thing, because there is this death from the old way of living and a rebirth into this new way of being. And so the hearts, that I feel in many, there is this calling coming for so many right now that is asking or calling for this change. And it's a change that you're ready for now. It's a change that will bring you more into your own soul alignment and activating more of your other aspects of yourself and remembrance of your soul agreement and your soul contract. And that's what it feels like to me in the collective. And I feel this myself particularly too. So I feel like I don't really identify myself to the old way, but in a way, I feel that that version of me is dying. So there is this form of like little grief that goes on with that too. But knowing that beyond that is a bigger life, this rebirth. And just like Buddha had his rebirth when he went through his own enlightenment, which is on the day of the Wesak, which is fast approaching, it's a big portal energy for us. And so because it is a full moon, it's a lunar eclipse, these are very big portal energies to really quantum leap ourselves into this ending cycle and the death of our old versions of ourselves and re-identifying ourselves with new patterns. And these are like healthier patterns of ourselves, right? And these are like thinking better of yourself, or aligning more to the worthiness of who you are and the worthiness of your own abundance in your own prosperity. And so just, those remembrance of those things and trusting yourself in that. And these are the new way of identifying yourselves in that way. So the number 2 thing to know is that there will still be this form of power struggle. When it comes to power, when we look at it from the old world, it's about control. And there is this level of control that comes with power, that we want to control our environment, we want to control our situation, and others sometimes want to overpower us. And so there is this form of power also that they feel that they're entitled over us. And so that's still kind of playing this game, right? But the one thing that I want to remind you of is that you hold your own power. And that power is all comes from divinity, from your own source connection. And so it is important to know that nobody or anything has any power over you. And you have your own free will to make your own choice and decisions and the things that you find yourself in at the moment. So, and also the remembrance is that if, we can't always control all the situations, that we can't always, be wanting to control everything. Because then when we get so attached to that control, that also can bring us down vibrationally in our frequency of energy. So it is important to look at it from all angles of this power. And what's happening is because as we are being rebirthed into these new identities or re-identifying ourselves, there is a bit of this power tension as well that will naturally come from it too. This power of wanting that control, of like wanting to control the situation to be perfect in that rebirth. But sometimes there is this form of surrender. And even in the surrender, there is much stronger power because that is a divine power. It is a divine feminine type energy, which is also very powerful energy that we all hold within ourselves. And this divine feminine power energy is in all of us. It doesn't matter if you're man or woman in the physical form. It is an energy in itself, and it's also bringing in the divine masculine energy, which is a balance. And I've been emphasizing a lot of the sacred union. And there's been a lot of signs that I've been seeing where I see a lot of messages and talks about sacred union. And so when I always think of sacred union, I think of the twin flame. And so I definitely been feeling a lot of energy around the twin flame. But this is a twin flame energy that is birthing inside of us. It's not, I'm not talking about the external. So I know that we sometimes get so focused on the external world where we want to compare ourselves and look outward and say, of this, connection with someone else when relation to relationship. But sometimes we forget about our own relationship with ourselves. And so that relationship starts with building that twin flame inside of us first and strengthening that foundation, because then that will build the roots and the connection within the ground grid line systems of the earth and connect you with the right divine partner who is right for you in this physical world. So not to get so attached on whether, this twin flame is out there or not for you. It's just being with it within yourself, and just being happy with that, being within yourself and having that peace within yourself, and that knowingness and that trust in yourself as well. So that's, the power struggle that, I'm feeling for this for number 2. And the number 3 thing to know is that so important about this month that is to maintain and continue doing some breath work and doing yoga and meditation, because I feel like with this whole rebirthing and re-identifying ourselves, there's also this spiritual revolution. So it feels like very warrior-like. So yes, there is some form of action, but there's also another aspect to take the time to really meditate and do some yoga. And doing yoga, there is some form of breath work and doing a lot of breathing techniques and connecting more with the element of air. The element of air contains its own vibrational type energy. It's this very powerful vital life force that when we breathe in our own techniques and our own way, that our cells, which are very conscious cells, are receiving from this vital life force of energy, and is also helping you stay balanced even when things may seem chaotic, may seem like there is this power struggle. And with those power struggles could come certain forms of conflict and friction. And so people will seem very, very how should I say, like uptight and very conflicting, like wanting to confrontational type energy. So when it comes to this, like somebody wanting to be confrontational, it's best to just take a really deep breath and just don't try to engage with someone else, because it's just not going to help the energy. And sometimes it's better if you feel like in your heart not to be around certain areas or certain situations or people, then listen to that in your heart, because things are just going to get more intensified in these energies. So very key to just maintain and continue to do that meditation and breath work, and through yoga or some form of yoga, whatever you feel like doing, stretching or something, and just connecting with that. And so the number 4 thing is to connect more with nature, because we're also in this Taurus energy for the first part of May. Most of May is in this Taurus energy, which is all about nature. It's about the beauty of the earth and the plants and trees and anything that is associated with beauty. And if you can just connect yourself with that beauty, and that could be through some art as well, looking at art, nature in art, for instance, those are things to also connect yourself with as well. And then, the second part of May, which towards the end of May, is when the Gemini zodiac sign kicks in. So it is appropriate because the Gemini is more of an air sign. So it's about, making the choices and the duality of things. And so that's why, having the breath work and having this connection with nature, a combination of those two, will help you as you navigate through these energies in May. And so the final thing to know, and before I jump into the final one, I just wanted to share that I will be having my Circle of Quantum Conscious Creators during the New Moon Ritual. And this will be a new moon ritual to set intentions for the new seeds and what you wish to manifest and create and desire. And I've been having them every month, and they have been so potent, especially for myself, as I see so many quantum changes in my life, quantum manifestations and quantum leaps. And so it is always, I love doing this in a group setting, because we all support one another as, we form our own virtual circle. So everything is online, and all the information, the description and the registration is in the link in the description area for this YouTube video. And also in May, I will be also launching another program, which I felt called to doing the rerouting on the heart chakra, because as we are re-identifying ourselves, there's also the root chakra that's being shaken a little bit, so it can feel a little bit unstable and scary at the same time. But what's going on is that we are being rerouted to the new earth frequency energy. So I will be bringing in a program series, a group program series for that, so stay tuned for more information on that. And so the final thing to share with you for this May of 2023 energy is that it's so important to drink a lot of water. And the Scorpio sign, which is the lunar eclipse Scorpio energy that is coming up for May, is a water sign actually. So that's why it is associated to the intuitive side. So try to drink plenty of water to keep yourself balanced, cleansed, and detoxed as well, because water is a very cleansing and detoxifying for the physical body as well. And it helps you stay balanced in that way. So if you enjoyed this message and you got something out of it, click like and share with others. And subscribe to my channels. I'll be sharing some more messages with you. I am sending you all so much love. Bye for now.